Hi, I'm Troy.
And I'm Vicky.
And we are the Empty Nesters Wine. So, welcome to episode 4. We're going to do a continuation. If you listened to last week, we were talking about remodel stories. We're going to continue on that. There's a lot of remodel stories to talk about, so we'll have plenty of content here.
Definitely.
So, yeah, the remodel, we were well into it, chipping out all the concrete in the basement and trying to pour the floor and stuff. Well, I mentioned last week that this used to be, it's one building, but it used to be like considered one place.
Yeah, it was one owner.
The neighbor, the Aunt Netter's Cafe, great place to eat, by the way. If you're ever in Lecompton, stop by Aunt Netter's Cafe, talk to Jamin and Annette, great people. And they've been so helpful with us, with our remodel, loaning us some scaffolding. And Jamin just comes over, hey, what are you doing? And just pitches right in and helps out. And yeah, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. But they're clean when he cooks your food at Aunt Netter's Cafe, so don't worry about that. And no, he didn't pay me. I'm just saying he's such a great guy. I wanted to plug him a little bit. So anyway, so the cafe's sewer line ran through this rock wall of their basement into our basement. And then it ran like through our basement a little ways, and then it went underground and went outside. And so we were looking at that and trying to figure it out, because we can't just have a winery with a sewer line just running
through the production floor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we thought a lot about it, and we went to the city.
Yeah, I think we went to the city.
Yeah. So anyway, all the sewer lines got moved, and in the process, whoever did the work, I think they kind of made a mistake that we didn't find out about until later. We had our plumbers in, and they were running our plumbing line to run it out back to the alley where the main plumbing line goes through. Something happened, and I'm not even sure what it was, but they had to start digging back a little ways to connect to the main line. And they had to dig back like 10 feet past where they wanted to dig. And it's fortunate that they did, because about 8 feet back, they found that the previous company had just crushed the sewer line and terminated it by accident and just left it.
Yeah, ours and the neighbors to the north of us as well.
Yeah, so that would have caused a serious problem with sewage backup once we opened. But fortunately, it was just a fluke thing that they even found it. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, my producer is always trying to tell me stuff, and I don't listen too well. Amazing guy, by the way. Smart as a whip. So like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're going to try to put out a podcast every week, and we're kicking around some exciting ideas. We might do some videos. We might do some on-location podcasts at our winery or other wineries. Might do some interviews. So like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to EmptyNestersWine.com, our website. Facebook, Empty Nesters Winery. Something like that.
Empty Nesters Wine.
Yeah, Empty Nesters Wine on Facebook. That's our biggest mode of communication. We're also on Instagram as Empty Nesters Wine. So, yeah, like, subscribe, and check out all of our social media.
Just Empty Nesters.
On
Facebook.
Facebook, Empty Nesters. All right. That's where we put most of our stuff, video updates and picture updates of our remodel. The biggest thing, I think, of this remodel, I mean, there were some big things, but like the most time-consuming thing in this remodel is painting. I never painted so much in my life. Painting,
and
painting,
he didn't
and painting.
Even do hardly any of the
You're
painting.
Right. Vicky did a lot of it. But like everything in your store has to be painted. And it doesn't have to be painted once. You have to put like 5 coats, 6 coats. When I was a kid, here's my painting story. This is why I should never be allowed to paint. So we were painting my grandpa's house when I was, 10, 12 years old, somewhere in there. And I was painting one side, and some other people, my dad, my best friend, my grandpa, they were painting in other areas. So I started at the top, and I'm painting downward, and then I get to about my waist level, and I'm getting pretty tired. I mean, this was, hours into painting. And so I leaned the top of my head up against the wall and was resting a little bit while I kept painting. And I kept painting down a little ways, and then when I stopped, I tried to get off of the wall, and my hair had dried to the paint on the wall. And I had to holler for my grandpa and my dad. They had to come over, looked at it. They talked about shaving my head, and I was like, no. My mom said no, so thankfully she was there to tell them. I think her words were, he's got an ugly head. Don't shave his hair. Maybe not. I don't know. So anyway, they had to dump a can of paint thinner over my head to dislodge my hair from the wall. So, yeah.
He's not much better at painting now either.
It's true. One time I was painting a floor, and you've heard the phrase, paint yourself into a corner? I actually did it. I mean, I don't know. I did it. I painted the wrong direction, and then I was like standing in this corner trying to figure out what I was going to do. But yeah, painting. I talked last week about how Vicky came out with blue speckles all over her face from painting. We had to paint doors, trim,
walls, the bar,
ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling, everything, yeah.
And like I said, you can't just paint it and be like, cool, I'm done. No, you got to paint everything. Then you got to wait, let it dry. Don't get your hair in it. Then you got to go back and paint a second coat, and a third, and a fourth. And then after the fourth coat, when I'm looking at it and thinking, man, that looks good, we're done, Vicky's like, nope, got to have a fifth coat. Are you kidding me?
They were doors.
Our winery looks amazing today because Vicky made me put on that fifth coat when I didn't want to.
He was mad too. You should have seen him.
It was so much painting. It was ridiculous. So I did mention last week about Vicky the Mason.
Oh, boy.
And that's quite a story. You definitely got to come to our winery, 338 Elmore Street in Lecompton. Check out this brick wall in our shop. When we started, it was all covered with plaster. We pulled down the plaster. It was really
Took 2 years to get it all chiseled off.
It took Vicky 2 years of working on this wall to make it look the way it does now. So you walk in and you look to your right, and it's all modern. It's sheetrocked and painted, and the bar and the beautiful cabinets. You turn to the right, and it's rustic and really cool. To the left. You turn to the left, and it's rustic. Got this beautiful brick wall, and it looks like it did back in the day. But yeah, we hired a mason to do the back wall, and he just did an absolutely terrible job. Vicky was not happy at all. I wasn't happy. He was done, and we could still see daylight through the wall.
In multiple spots.
Yeah, and so, I was pointing all these places out, and he'd go out and fix that spot, and then I'd point out another one. So anyway, we had this feature wall inside the winery that we wanted done, and Vicky's like, no, we're not having him do that. So Miss Vicky went to a YouTube video and learned how to become a mason.
Well, it started with the windows. When the front of the building, the window, underneath the windows, you could actually look at a brick and pull it out.
The concrete was so old,
it had turned to sand. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad. So we knew we were going to put new windows in, so we had to make it stable again. So what we ended up doing was Troy went to the Kansas City Chiefs football opener one year.
My kind of working.
With the rest of the guys that have been working at the winery. And so while they did that, I decided I'm going to fix this window. And I did. I got one side all the way done.
And it looked amazing. And I was happy. I went to a Chiefs game, came back, the wall was done.
So then I did the other side. Got that one done.
After having 2 walls and a video under her belt, she was ready to tackle the big wall.
Yep.
The feature wall. It took 2 years to do.
And I also did another wall. Aaron, again, my awesome brother-in-law, came up and he and I built a new wall that actually
where the door was?
Yeah, there was a door there, and we wanted to seal it in and put new windows in. And
there was a doorway here, and you can't even tell there was a doorway. That's how good of a job they did. But yeah, we pulled out the door, and then they built a small brick wall, and then we put a window on top of it. It looks great. But yeah, this feature wall, I mean, it's massive. You'll see it when you come in the winery, but all the concrete was just old and crumbly and powdery, and I mean, you touch it and it like crumble.
Except for the part that you wanted to chisel off, because I did a lot of chiseling.
So Vicky chiseled it probably an inch back.
Yeah.
And then she got new concrete, put in a piping bag, and re-concreted the entire wall. Oh, before that, though, you had to scrape everything off.
Yeah.
Because, whenever you put plaster or concrete on stuff, it's all over the face of the bricks and everything.
Troy kept telling me, what are you doing?
Let's
looks horrible. Let's just sheetrock it. It looks horrible.
Right. I'm glad we didn't do that because it looks amazing now.
And my brother had loaned us his scaffolding, and we were up there on that for a while. And then he calls and said, I need my scaffolding back, but I still had 10 feet at the top that I had to finish.
Yeah, this is another good story for me. I was at work.
And so, Troy was still at work. So I called my son in, Austin, and Austin called his best friend, Ben, and we all three were up on this little scaffolding up here, fixing the last of the top of the wall that I couldn't reach with the ladder.
I came home from work and the wall was done. That's my kind of do-it-yourself.
We had just enough time to finish it and clean up the scaffolding before my brother came and picked it up.
Yeah, him and I arrived about the same time to load up the scaffolding in his truck, and he took it away. So, yeah, it was a crunch session for Vicky and Austin and Ben. But
however, we decided that the brick layer, the original one, and the one that made the bricks were obviously drunk brothers.
Obviously.
The bricks, there was 4 different kinds of bricks in this wall, and they were all different sizes, and some of them were even wavy. And at one point, there's a section at the middle that has a straight line all the way down it, and my son still thinks there's a special word, like an open sesame,
a door to nowhere,
or a little lever somewhere that we haven't found that it just opens and goes somewhere.
Yeah, it's quite a wall. We can't even really describe it. You just got to come and see it. It's something special, and I'm so glad that Vicky was adamant about keeping that wall, keeping the history, and just making it look as authentic as possible, but look good.
Yeah, a lot of people told me I didn't think you'd pull it off, but they were really surprised that I did.
Everybody that comes to the winery looks at it and just says, wow. I mean, yeah, after she scraped all that concrete out and put the new concrete in, then she had to scrub everything, scrub it again, scrub it like 3 or 4 times with water, soap, water again to rinse it. And then after all that, then she put a clear coat over it. Well, several clear coats. How many coats did you put on it?
I think 3.
3. So if I had been clear coating it, she would have told me I had to do 5. But she can get away with 3 for some reason.
That's because it started getting streaky after the second coat.
Right. So, yeah, you definitely want to check that out. So, yeah, it was a lot of work. Oh, so, the funny part is, we would be working. The people of Lecompton are really friendly. I mean, this is a great community to live in and to do business in. But yeah, it may not be the best place to do a remodel if you want to
you're in
get
a
any
hurry.
work done. Yeah, so we'd be working along. Somebody'd stop by and want to visit for a few minutes and look around the place, and I was all for it because I didn't want to be there working anyway. So we would work for 5 minutes, talk for 10 minutes. Then we would go back to work for 5 minutes. Somebody else would come by. We'd talk for 10 minutes.
We'd have to take turns. One of us would go that time. Somebody else would go the next time.
Whoever was less busy was out front talking.
It was usually Troy.
Yeah, it usually was. I got all my work done early up on the high scaffolding and ladders.
Sure.
So yeah, that was it was a lot of fun, really, with people coming by. Everybody's really excited. So anyway, all of our work paid off. We still have a lot to do, but we got occupancy of the building.
Woo.
The county came out and inspected several weeks ago and gave us occupancy. So we still got a lot to do, but occupancy has been attained, which was a huge part of it.
Yeah, because we couldn't start a license until the occupancy was obtained. So
Right. So now I've been working on the liquor license. Oh my gosh, there's forms, and forms, and I'll get to one form, and I'll have to put my name, address, phone number, social security number, birth date, occupation, all these things. Then it wants my spouse's name, address, phone number, social security number, all this stuff. Then I have to put my spouse's info again because she's co-owner of the place. Then I have to put my info again as her spouse. Then I go to the next form and it wants the same information for another reason. So, yeah, the licensing has been very interesting. We still have a lot to do.
oh yeah,
We were just talking about the bar top today, and yeah, we might be switching up ideas at the last minute. This has been a recurring situation throughout the remodel. Something comes back very expensive, and we're like, nope, change our mind.
we're changing it.
We're going to do something different. Bar top is one of those things, so we're probably going to change it. We still got to hang a bunch of trim, paint sand and paint the front door, fill in holes. The front door, it's a beautiful, big, old door.
Very unique, yeah.
Very unique. It's got a lot of character to it.
It's the original door.
Unfortunately, it's got a lot of holes in it, a lot of metal plates and screws and thumbtacks in it.
Yeah, who knows what that poor door's been through it.
So we got to pull the door and clean it up, sand it down, fill in the holes, put a new handle on it, touch up paint everywhere. I mean, we painted and painted and painted. We're still not done. We got to touch up. We still got the back wall to paint. Vicky's going to have to put on her masonry hat again because we got the back wall to tuck point on the inside. The original mason did the outside. Terrible job.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Vicky can do the inside and make it all work. And cleaning. Man, we got to transform this place from a construction zone to a winery. And that means
It is dusty. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
sweeping up all the dust and mopping and cleaning and wiping down stuff. So yeah, that's our remodel. Next week, I think we're going to talk about the great community of Lecompton and how helpful they've been in our remodel and how we've so enjoyed stopping working and talking to people, getting to know new people, and how we look forward to working with people. Lecompton is full of a rich history in our nation and in our state especially. And so next week, we're going to do a lot of talking about that. Hey, guys, don't forget to like this podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Empty Nesters, Instagram, Empty Nesters Wine, and we'll catch you next week.